Hi and thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about game states and creating game states so that allows us to do what we're doing here, which is show messages sort of slowly, enough time for the user to be able to respond to them, to read them, something meaningful so it's not just flashing across the screen. Allowing them to do some input like this. As you can see, it's pretty basic right now, but I can click how many I'd like to take. Remember, maximum of 3. The idea in the game that we're playing in Nim is that you want to leave just one match. Okay, so you want to be the person that leaves the opponent with one match, right? You do not want to be the one taking the last match. That means you've lost. Okay, so in this scenario here, we've got 5 matches. I can take 1, 2 or 3, so I'll just take 3 matches. And eventually, there we go, it will do that. And you can see that there are 2 left. Now, if it was the computer's go now, it would take just the 1 match. Remember, so you can take 1, 2 or 3 matches. So it would take just the 1 match and the computer would have 1. Okay, so that's the idea of this game. Some people play the game so that you have to take the last match. So if you like, if once it's down to 3 matches, you've won. Okay, so but in our game, we're going to say the person that takes the last match is the loser. So let's talk about first of all how you can always win at Nim. This is a game that you might want to play with your mates, and once you know this little secret, in theory, you should never lose unless they actually know the secret as well, or they work it out. It's certainly going to go a long way to making you win. I would say probably 99% of the time if they don't know the secret. So like I say, the rule is that you want to leave your opponent with 1 match. Okay, so let's just think about that for a second. Let's just think about what we're saying here. That what this means is that if it's their go and they've got 2, 3 or 4 matches, remember the maximum you can take is 3. So if they've got 2, 3 or 4 matches, guess what they're going to do? They're going to take up to 3 matches to leave you with 1. So with that in mind, the right number to leave their opponent with is 5. So if you leave your opponent with 5 matches, there is nothing they can do. Okay, because if they take 1 match, then you're just going to take 3. If they take 2 matches, then you'll take 2. If they take 3 matches, then you'll take 1. Okay, always leaving them with 1. Basically, if they leave you with 4 or less, you've won. Okay, now that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's just play it with go over to Excel here. I've got an example here. So if we had 6 matches left, let's say, okay, and you take so let's just say 1 match to leave them with 5. All right. Now what would happen now is they could take 1 match, which would leave them with 4. Or they could take 2 matches, which would leave 3 matches, or they could take 3 matches, which would leave 2 matches. Okay, any number of those matches there means that you've actually already won the game, because if you've left them with 5, nothing they can do now will win them the game. Okay, so this is where I'm going with this. So you know the little secret now. If you can get them down to 5 matches on their go, you've won. So actually, if you think about it, it's the first person to leave 5 matches. Well, with that in mind, then, if we're saying it's the first person to leave 5 matches, then how do we make sure that you can always leave them with 5? Well, guess what? It actually works exactly the same. You need to say that you need to leave them with 9 matches. Okay, so it's 5 plus 4, and the reason for that is that if you leave them with 9 matches, nothing they can do. So if they take 1, then you would take 3. If they take 2, you take 2, and if they took 3, you take just the 1. Okay, so if you leave them with 9 matches, there's nothing they can do, because the go afterwards, you're going to just take whatever it is to leave them with 5. And this goes on. Okay, basically it's the maximum number of matches plus 1. All right, so 4 in this example. So it goes 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, 25. If you can leave them with those matches, nothing they can do will win them the game. Okay, sometimes it may take a little bit of time, but because they may just take 1 match at a time just to keep you guessing. But in theory, you cannot lose. Okay, so this is what we're going to get the computer to do. We need to work out some maths for this. Let's have a little think about this. What we're actually saying, if you notice this, we're going 5, 9, 13, 17, and 21, etc. The reason it's 5 and 9 is because we're actually just leaving 1 match, aren't we? If we take that 1 match away, and then what we've got is 4, 8, 12, 16. All right. So what we can do is do a little calculation. So let's just pick a random number. We're going to say 15. Okay. What I'm going to now do is I'm going to say, okay, we're going to just quickly say that in Excel we'll say the value is going to equal that one minus 1. Okay. So we're going to take away that last remaining match that we want to leave, and then we use the modulus function. And what this does is it divides it by 4 and gives us the remainder. So if I just say this equals mod that comma 4, it's slightly different in C#, comma 4. And that will tell us how many matches we need to take. Okay, so let's just see if this is right. So what we're saying is if there's 15 matches, it's saying we need to take 2. That sounds right, doesn't it? Because that would leave us with 13 matches. Let's just try 16 matches. That leaves us with, it's saying it should take 3, and let's just work that out. Correct. That leaves us with the 13 matches required. Okay, just ignore that row 2 for a second. What about 17 matches? If there's 17 matches remaining, it's say to take 0 matches, and the reason is, of course, because if you have 17 matches remaining, then you've lost. As long as the other player plays perfectly, then you've lost. So if it is on 17, then we'll just take 1 match because we haven't got a choice. Does this work as you go lower down? So let's just try 5. Again, we know that's 0 because 5 is the perfect number. If there's 4 matches remaining, it's saying to take 3, which is correct because that leaves them with 1. If there's 3 matches remaining, it says to take 2. If there's 2 matches remaining, it says to take 1. If there's 1 match remaining, you've lost. Okay? So we've got ourselves a little algorithm there that's going to win. Okay? Just if you're not quite sure, just go and grab yourself some matches or anything, sticks, stones, whatever. You can go and play this with your mates. Just have a little play. Just confirm what I'm saying is right. As long as you leave them with 5, 9, 13, 17, 21. You're always going to win. Alright? So let's get on and add this to our code. Okay, so I brought back my original project with none of the the text and what have you added that we had earlier on. One thing I did change, if I quickly spin over to random matchstick generator here, I actually made the Y position a little bit random as well. Okay, up to 5 with a minimum of 2. So from between 2 and 7 probably, because this only goes up to 4, right? Between 2 and 6, excuse me. Am I right? 2 plus 4 is 6. a height between 2 and 6, and the reason for that is I thought if I just show you, I don't know how well this is going to come out at 30 frames a second, but it just looks better if it just falls, at sort of random times. I like that. It does. Every now and again I notice that one flew off. It's not going to happen for me now. There's some bouncing going on there and a little bit of wobble, but it tends to level out. And we'll just keep going, and we'll just drag those down. You see, the other day one did actually stay upright, which I thought was kind of cool. This might be a problem. If so, we might want to lower the height that it drops from. But at the minute, it doesn't look to be too much of an issue. Okay, so let's talk about that logic that we just said there. So when the computer has its go, it will always pick, well, in theory, try to pick the best possible move. This is the problem, and one of the things I think that we might want to consider is maybe adding a little bit of randomness to the computer, so every now and again it makes a dodgy move. Otherwise I think the player might get a little bit upset, or indeed they might even work it out. They might work out how to win. The only time you can lose if it's your go first is if it's on 5, 9, 13, 17. If it's on those numbers, then you have already lost in theory. But if it's any other number, then you should win. So in theory, you're going to win 75% of your matches where you go first. All right, and if you go first or second, and the other person doesn't know, you're probably going to win most of them. All right. So where were we? So let's create a new script, C# script, and we'll call this one something like nim helper. Okay. Yeah, let's call it nim helper. And this isn't a Unity mono behavior, so I think we can get rid of all of those and get rid of the mono. We don't need to extend mono behavior. And we'll write a little method, a function called so public static int get matches to take. I don't like that. Calculate matches to remove. Yeah, and we'll put int remaining matches. Okay. And what we're going to do here is if we just come back to our spreadsheet, you may remember that it's basically we need to take 1 away from the matches remaining to give us a multiple of 4. Okay, that we can, a number that we can divide by 4 and get the remainder from, and that'll tell us how many we need to take away. All right, so if we spin back here, we're just literally going to say int matches to remove equals let's put it in brackets, remaining matches -1, and in C# it's %4, so that's modulus 4. Okay, so that's going to tell us how many matches to remove. The only problem with this is that, like I say, if you end up with, if it's 5 or 9 or 13, that's going to show 0, and you always have to take at least one in this game. You can't just pass, otherwise you'll both be passing and the game would never end. So what we'll do is we'll just say if brackets matches to remove equals 0, return 1, else return matches to remove. Okay, and that's that. All right, so we are in a good place there, and we can use that script going forward. And that literally will be it. Because it's static, by the way, we can just call it nimhelper.calculate matches to remove. We don't have to create a new instance or anything. Alrighty, guys, that's in good shape. So let's start thinking about how we're going to model this out. This is the last piece we'll do in this tutorial today. We'll just start thinking about how we're going to create a messaging tool. And the best way to do this, I find, is to use the coroutines. And what we'll do is we'll create a display message function, and that will sort of display the message on screen for a little bit of time, and then remove it. So what we'll do is we'll create some text. And we'll alert the system will kind of enable it and disable it and set the text depending on what the current state of the game is. So we'll just create a UI text element. And this is the one thing I love about this early, is that it goes down there for reasons I don't know. Let's just quickly click on here and just why is that sensitive? Why is it on Earth? Does it put it? Can you even see that? We'll just make sure it's all centered. There we go. So now it's bang in the center. I'll zoom right out 1,000,000 times. Where are we? Where are you, text? It's so big. I don't understand. Somebody can explain it to me. It's round the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so we've got our text there. Okay, and that is centered, I think. So first things first, let's make it a lot bigger. Let's try 48. It's probably not going to fit because click on it again. Where are you? If we do that one, there we go. Now we can make it bigger. We'll just do this. Whoosh. Alright, let's just center like that, and then okay, just pull something like that. Okay, and then we just click on the center option here, alignment center. Okay, curiously, I wonder if it's going to be kind to me here and just keep it roughly in the center, something like that. Okay, let's make it as wide. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll make it as wide as the thing. Hopefully, it will snap to it. It does. There we go. That's good. Okay, so now that's not a problem. We can pull that down, pull that up, and we'll make it the vertical alignment also center. Now, I have a question. Why has it put it lower than the actual what's that called? The anchors. Why has it done that? I don't know the answer to that. It looks as though that is in the center, but that's actually not. Possibly something to do with the padding, maybe. Eek, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it just right now, because actually what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move it up a touch above where the matches are going to fall. So let's just quickly have a look at it now. Yeah, maybe even move it up a bit more, right? So we'll just keep moving it up a bit more. Up here somewhere, okay? Let's have a look at that. Oh, I love the way that one bounced. Brilliant. Okay, matches don't usually bounce like that, do they? But for in our game, they're going to bounce. Okay, that looks like a good enough height. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Oh, excuse me. Let's try 64. And we'll make it white. And Arial's a bit boring. I'm going to have a little look at some fonts later on. We can play with some fonts, but for now, I'll just add a couple of components. One would be a shadow, and we'll add that. I think I went for something like 3 minus 3. That looks pretty good. And also, let's make this bold. Hang on. Where are you? Bold. Normal. There we go. Bold. Okay, so it's a bit bigger. And also, we'll add another component called outline. There it is. Okay, so that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? There we go. And we'll call this something like message text, right? Let's just press F2 and we'll call it message text. All right, and then we will, yeah, we'll keep it enabled for now. Let's keep it enabled for now. We might disable it by default at the start. So we've got ourselves some message text. So what we'll do, we'll create a new game manager, and this is what this game manager is going to do. It's going to have a series of states. You know, is it a new game? Are we waiting for the player to play? Is it the computer's turn? Etc. etc. And we will, depending on the state, it will display a message, potentially enable some stuff, etc. Right? So I'm saying etc. a lot. Sorry about my sore throat. I run a fair bit, and I think because I suck in so much air, it really hurts my throat. So apologies if I'm sounding a bit hoarse. Okay, so let's do that right now. Let's create a new C# script, and we'll call this something like Game Manager. Okay. Now what we're going to do with our Game Manager, it's going to run alongside the actual random matchstick generator. One thing we're going to need to do over here, you saw earlier on, was that we're going to need to be able to remove those matches. At the moment, I think it just instantiates, just looking at it here rather than looking at it in the MonoDevelop. Where's instantiate? There it is. This isn't the easiest place to look, can you? You see that there? Instantiate. Actually, let's go over to here so you can see it and make it a bit bigger. There, instantiate. Okay, so there's nothing to store where that is. So if we're going to start removing matches, then we need to maybe store them as an object in an array or something so that we can remove them. But don't worry about that for now. Let's just crack on with this Game Manager. What we will do is we will have a series of game states. So let's just create an enum game state. And then I think we'll do something like this. We'll just, for now, we'll have new, comma, player's turn, computer's turn. Okay, those are the states we're looking at right now. Okay, and what we'll do is, as well as we'll say private game state, current game state. Okay, and we'll, in here we'll just say, in start we'll just say current game state equals game state dot new. Okay, now, so what we're going to do now is, as soon as it starts up, it's going to set it to new, and we will use our update method to evaluate what the state is, and depending on what the state is, it will act upon it. One thing we should add as well is when this game state is, for instance, new, we should probably have a state called busy or something like that. Let's put it right at the start, so busy. And what that means is that when if the update game method gets called multiple times, and we're in a new state, let's say, it doesn't keep calling new over and over and over again, because we're going to be using a little bit of threading here, coroutines, okay, to keep the state of the system, from freezing. This will all become clear in a minute if that's not clear right now. So what we'll do now is we'll have a switch on current game state. Is it like that? I think. And then we say case new. Game state.new, shall we? Game state.new. And let's just say something along the lines of, for now, debug.log new. Okay, shift try this, and also here we'll have current game state equals game state dot busy. Actually, we might want to put that off. No, let's put it before. Before makes some sense actually, because then it will it'll call the method afterwards and won't call it again. It'll become clear again in a minute. That looks like it's actually compiling. Okay, and it should only call this once, right? Because when it does the update again, it won't be new anymore. It will be busy. So let's just have a quick look and see how that looks. Just any issues on the console? We need to. This is the thing about switches. You need to make sure you've got any case you put a break at the end so that it doesn't fall through to the next game state or whatever. If you're not sure about that, let's check your C# code. Okay, now did it debug? Let's just click on there. Pause. No, it doesn't look like it did do it, does it? It won't have done it because we haven't attached it to anything. So let's just do that. There's a game manager here, and we can add it to our random matchstick generator. And in fact, that's actually a very good idea because the matchstick generator can do its thing while we're working through the game state. So I think that actually works rather well. So let's just put game manager in. I see I've called the script game manager and the empty game manager. Not to worry for now. I might rename the empty. Let's pop that in there. Okay, so we've got our two scripts. Okay, game manager and our random matchstick generator. Now let's run it again. I've turned off maximize on play. And there we go, it says new. And you can see it only says it once. Do you know, this caught me out for ages. I was looking at it and expecting to see new. But oh no, it has this little counter here. So if the message is the same, this will start rattling up. And I know probably some of you are going, yeah, Richard, you idiot. That's really, really obvious. Everyone knows that. But I didn't. So it took me a bit of time to work that out. Okay, so great. So we've got our state here. So what we'll do now is spin back into here. And what we'll do is we'll create a function, called... so we'll call it void new game. Alright, but what we want this to be is we want this to be a coroutine. So we don't want this to just basically to pause while we're displaying our message, perhaps taking a break and then doing another message. We don't want the whole system to freeze. That would be terrible, and it's just not good practice. So what we'll actually do is we will say start coroutine. Okay, this starts a I think it was a sort of a threaded method that allows you to return the state back and do other things while it's not busy. All become clear in a minute. If you've not seen these before, worth checking this stuff out in the Unity tutorials. Start coroutine. What we're calling it, new game. All right. Now the thing about this is that you can't have a void in new game. It needs to have a thing called an I enumerator. There it is. Okay, so it basically allows us to return, yield return stuff. Again, might be worth you checking your some of the Unity tutorials on coroutines to see how this works. Alright guys, so there we go. So we've got I enumerator new game. And when you're on new game, we want to say something like welcome to NIM. Right, so the first thing we want to see, we want it to print it on the screen for a bit, print something else, perhaps pause for a second, then print something else. Alright, so let's just try this. Let's go for so what we'll do is we want to change the message. Right, so I think what we're going to do is we'll create a script that allows us to do this. And so we'll just down here we'll just say void, actually be I enumerator, won't it? I enumerator, I'll show you why in a minute. Change display message, right? Change display message. Okay, and we'll have a string, new message, and we'll have a float, message duration, how long it's going to be on. Okay, so we say we're going to need a reference to that message, aren't we? So let's get that in now. This is called what's it called? Message text. So let's in here. Let's just add a link to it. I think we're going to need to add a system using UnityEngine.ui. Apologies if I'm rattling through this. I'm trying to make this quick and useful, but also meaningful. So if it's not making any sense, please do comment, and I will promise I'll try and answer you. Public text. Display message text. Display message text. No, let's just put display message. Save that. Okay, and down here, then what we can do is we can say display message dot is enabled equals true, just in case it's not. Then we say display message dot text equals new message. Then we're gonna pause. So we'll do that in a second, and then we'll just say display message dot enabled equals false. Okay, so then get rid of it. Okay, so it's going to enable it if it wasn't already enabled. Change the message, and then set it to false again. And what we'll do here is we'll say yield return new wait for seconds. That's the one. And then message duration. Pretty scary stuff, that line there, isn't it? But the way I take this, what this is saying is yield return basically means, go away, I'm giving you some time, go and do some other stuff, but please come back after this many seconds. Alright, so if you like, once we've done that, this update statement will keep running and running and running and running until the message duration has passed. I just imagine it's not an exact science. It probably doesn't guarantee that it'll be exactly, if you put 4 seconds, it'll be 4 seconds long. But around that period. Okay, so it's giving it back. So the danger we've got here is that we could call new game multiple times, which is why we're kind of setting these states here, so that every time it comes back into here, it doesn't do anything, right? Because it doesn't do anything if it's in the busy state. All right. Okay, so it will be doing stuff. Okay, at the end of this, what we'll do is we'll change the state again, so that the update has to do something else. Right. So what we'll do in here now is we will say change. Yield return change display message. Okay, and then we'll say to welcome to NIM, and we'll put it on for 4 seconds. Okay, and let's just try that. Let's just try that, and then it'll stay in the busy state, so it's not going to move once it's finished here. It's just going to basically just loop around and do nothing in the update statement here. Okay, so let's give it a go. Any errors? No. So let's run it. We need to see this public things come up here, so we should just, if we're careful, just drag the message text into the display message, so we've got a reference to it. I hope you can see that and it's not too small. And we'll click here, welcome to Nim, and I'm hoping that will just go 4 seconds and it's gone. Now, I don't know if you saw that there, but the match is carried on falling. Now, if we didn't do all this stuff, all these confusing coroutines, what would happen? I can't think. It would be pretty tricky to show you. But if you just went for, just did new game and didn't use iEnumerator, those matches would just stay up the top. It would display that message for 4 seconds, and then they'd all continue to drop. You don't want that. We want some interaction here. I'll just show you that again. So just say welcome to Nim, and the matches drop. Okay, and that's because of this yield return new, wait for message duration. So some of these things are happening, okay, it does block while it does these, but these yield return new, wait for seconds, okay, that does actually give the system back for a little bit, okay. And I think this one does here as well. I think it does. I think that's saying basically, wait until that's finished and come back. All right, I'm not explaining this very well. So we've got our new game. It's come up there. Perhaps we should we'll add a new wait for seconds here as well. We'll just add perhaps 1 second. Okay, 1F. And then what we need to do next is we need to pick a player to go first, don't we? So let's do that. Let's add a random number. So we'll change the state now. So let's have new, and then we'll have pick first player. Okay, so that's going to be the next state. So we'll have this here, and we'll say what was it? Current game state equals game state dot pick first player. So that job's done. It'll print that there. Okay, and what we'll do now is up here. We'll say case game state dot pick first player, and then we will do current game state equals game state dot busy start coroutine. Pick first player. I know we haven't written that yet, but there we go. Player break. Alright, so there we go. We've got the same rules here. It's going to busy state, and we will just here iEnumerator, iEnumerator pick first player. Right, let's have a little think about this. So what we're going to say here. So we'll have yeah, we can do this quite easily actually. What we'll do, I think we'll use random. Now I need to remind myself how random works here. I'm going to use C#'s system.random, okay, because I find that a little bit easier to use. Frustratingly, Unity's got a random method as well, but for some reason I might be missing something. It doesn't seem quite as random. It's possibly based on you need to give it a seed. I'm not quite sure. We will find out. But let's do this for now. Let's just go for a value between 0 and 1, where 1 is the computer or something and 0 is the player, something like that. So let's just say int next player equals new system. They spell system.random dot next. And I think you can just say, if I say 2. Okay, I know it's confusing. Basically, that's a value between 0 and 1. If you say 2, it should be 2. I think I get that some things are indexed, but if you've got a random value, then you put 2, then it should be between 0 and 2. But for reasons, perhaps legacy ones, that will return a value between 0 and 1. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll say if brackets next player equals 0. Something like change display message, yield, return, change display message, computer to go first, or something like that, and we'll put that for 3 seconds, 3F, and then we'll say current game state equals game state dot computer's turn. Else if next player, I'm just going to add a little check in here. I don't think this will ever happen. Equals 1. We'll just do the same thing. We'll just say, we'll do the same thing. Hey, where's the there? Say player to go. You to go first. You to go first. There we go. You to go first, and down here it's going to be game state dot player's turn. There we go. Okay, we'll just say else debug dot error, log error, next player equals. I'm just a bit nervous that maybe it could 2 could be value plus shriek, plus quotes shriek shriek, not a valid value. Oh no, what have we done? Next player plus, sorry, and then we just say plus quotes shriek, not a valid player number, something like that. I don't know. That's really just a stupid check, right? It should never get there. I could have just changed display message, couldn't I? Okay, so we've got our system here now. So that's just going to create the player to go first. Let's run this a few times and see what happens. Welcome to Nim. A second computer to go first. Okay, that's a good start, and then we'll do it again. Welcome to Nim. Little break. Computer to go first. If you run this 4 times, of course, and eventually it might say player to go first. Let's hope it does it now. Okay, come on, you to go first. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, so far so good. It looks as though I think I might have. Let's give it a couple more runs just to make absolutely sure. I don't think it can ever be 2. I'm pretty sure. I could check the code for this. So what I'll do is I'll just get rid of that, and then say else. There. All right. So there we go. Computer to go first or you to go first, and it updates the game state depending on which one that is. Okay, and it doesn't need to finish. It just returns once that's finished. Brilliant, brilliant. I'm going to stop there, guys, because I think we're almost there. There was one more thing I wanted to do, actually. Just one more thing I wanted to show, which was basically I'm going to copy this and put it over to the left-hand side to show how many matches are remaining. I might do it on the right, but for now, let's just do it on the left. What I think I'll do, I had a real problem with this last time, was just add a new text. I think I'll just create it from scratch. Real quick, when I did Control D, it went all over the place. There we go. So I just do new text, and I'm going to anchor this. I'm going to click on here. I'm going to press Alt, and then I'm going to press the top left-hand one here. So the text goes. You can't see it right now because it's too small and black. So we will just make a couple of changes there. So let's make that, I don't know, 32. We're going to need to bring back the scene view. And just click on here and just make it bigger. What I might do is I might just drag that all the way across. Okay, and then just drag it down till it fits. There we go. Okay, and we'll just center that. We can probably just move it down, or I can just do alignment centered there. That's moving it across a bit. So I might actually, rather than do that, I don't need to do that. Just bring it into the middle, about there. And then we can just grab the move thing and just, excuse me, that one. And just move it across somewhere about there. All right, and we'll change it to matches remaining. 0. All right, and here we're going to change it obviously to white. And then we will, I know I could have copied the other component, but excuse me. Excuse me, I told you my throat was sore. And also add the shadow. Add the shadow. Shadow. Was it 3 minus 3, wasn't it, for shadow? I might move that up actually, just to keep them consistent. And it was 3 minus 3. That looks too thin, and that's because we haven't got the font as bold. Okay, this is great, but at the minute it's not actually working per se. I'm a bit uncomfortable with how close those two are, so I might just change the distance on the message. So let's call that matches remaining text. Matches remaining text. And then let's just grab that one and just move it down a bit. Just a little bit. I think if you go full screen, it might not look so bad. Let's just try. Yes, it's a lot better for when it's full screen, isn't it? So we might not need to worry. Oh, we might not need to worry too much. Maybe move it up just a touch then. No, excuse me, my throat is getting sore. I'm definitely going to have to stop soon. Well, so matches remaining is 0, so we need to set this to something meaningful. So let's go back in to our system here. And what we'll do is we'll get a reference to our random matchstick generator here. So let's just do that. And we'll just up here, we'll have private random matchstick generator. Let's just say RMG, okay, random matchstick generator, and down here we can then say RMG equals get component random matchstick generator. All right, and the reason that's going to work is because both these things are in the same empty. Okay, so we don't have to worry too much. It's in the same empty, and it'll find that. All right, but in our random match generator, what we don't do right now is say how many matches there are kind of in a public variable. So we'll just add this up here. I don't know if let's just say get. Let's just have a get method down here. So I have a public int get remaining matches. Oh, that's going to return. There's a problem here. Number of matches. Let's just put that up here. Put up here. Okay, and then we just down here we just want to put int. We'll just change to that, and then we say return num matches. All right, and then back in our back in our code here, we can now just in our game manager. Where should we put it? We'll start by putting it here. We'll just say rm. We haven't got a reference to it, have we? We have not. So let's create one. So we'll have another text message. So we'll have public text matches remaining. Remaining message. And then here we'll say matches remaining message equals matches remaining. I can see I might have to put this in a method colon rmg dot get remaining matches. Right. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's not going to change right now. It's only going to do it first when it first loads up. The thing is, I suppose it'd be interesting to see which order these scripts running, because that could completely go wrong if they run in the wrong order. Let's just see how we go for now, and I think that's going to work. Let's just see. Let's just go back here. Anything on the console? Fine. We're going to need to copy the matches remaining text, aren't we? So if we go to our game manager, and where are you? Did I save it? I was hoping something would appear there. Spin back here. Public text, there it is. Shift Control S. I didn't save it. Go back here. Come on, baby. Where are you? What's this? Can't. Okay. What have I done? Dot text. Sorry. I think that'll work. There we go. And sure enough, the matches remaining message is there. So we need to just drag that in. So we've got a reference to it. Okay. No. Control S. Let's run it. Okay, it's still showing matches remaining as 0. Let's turn off maximize on play and pause. No errors. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so it's not changing that, is it? So I don't know why that is. Let's have a quick look. Matches remaining. RMG.get remaining matches. Let's just double check. Int num matches plus min matches. We've got all that logic that we did earlier. Int num matches. I can't see it. I can't see why that's not working. Quick look, and then I'll pause it and have if I can't work it out. It's possible that that hasn't been instantiated in the right order we hoped. Get remaining matches. I was very much expecting that to work. Right, let me pause it and see what's going on. Okay, I have worked it out. Sure enough, the thing I was saying might be the big problem is the execution order. So we go to edit project settings and script execution order here. We want our random matchstick generator. Let's just revert that. We want our matchstick generator to go first, so that it gets this number of matches remaining and sets them. Here, right? We want this to make sure this is run before our game manager goes and gets the number of matches that is remaining. So if we go over to edit. Project settings, script execution order. What I've done, so can I do this? I'll just do it again. I'll just remove them. So that's how it looks when you first go in. And then what you'll do is we'll get our random matchstick generator and just drag that in. And we'll put that above the default time. It doesn't matter hugely. I don't think about this default time piece. Don't worry about that for now. And then the game manager in there below it. Okay, I think you can just pull this up and do that as well if you want to. Alright, so you got a game order here. I'm going to go with that. So we've got the random matchstick generator running first, and then the game manager will run after. So just click apply. And now if we run it, boom, 31 matches. Fred remaining. I've got to change the text as well. Let's quickly change that back. I wanted to make sure that it was actually changing the text as well. So Oh, do you know what? I'm already going to do it. I'm going to put this in the method right now. I'm just going to say void set remaining matches text. Remaining matches text brackets text brackets int matches remaining. No, I'm not even going to do that. Am I going to do that? Am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that because it's going to know how many there are. Okay, so we'll just say this. We're going to say here, like that. Okay, and then we'll just pop down here, pop in there, pop in there. And then we can just say here, was it set remaining matches text? Okay, so you don't need to do that because it's going to reference this RMG get remaining matches. Okay, so it'll just update as necessary. Okay, so we will probably run that a few times. Right? We're going to run that after we've removed matches and things, which is why I want to put it in a method. Right, let's have a look. 27. Welcome to Nim, guys. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. Okay, I think you get the idea of where we're going with this. So in the next lesson, what we'll do is we'll create some additional states to start taking how many matches you want to remove, as well as the computer making its go based on those rules that we set earlier. I appreciate you watching this. I hope that made sense. My throat is feeling very, very sore now. Please do comment, like, best of all subscribe. I love you guys and look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. All the best now. Cheers. Bye bye.